challenges, in our opinion, seem to have overwhelmed our security institutions.
The governors are supposed to be the state security officers of their state.
There is need for us to at least engage the traditional rulers.
We need to do something about our porous borders.
We have to own it from the unit level to the ward level to the local government to state.
Mr. President, the importance of today for us is for us to take action.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The projects will also stimulate a rebirth of commercial and engineering activities.
Senate approves loans for the executive for more infrastructural projects.
Those in favor that the Senate do approve the Conference Committee report on the Electoral Act No. 6, 2010.
And Senate concurs with report of Conference Committee on Electoral Act. Hello there and welcome to Inside the Senate. I'm Firdausi Ahmad Wakili. Tuesday, the 9th of November, the Senate resumed plenary after the budget defense break and passed several bills at second reading as well as adopted resolutions for the good of the nation. Reports from last week's plenary therefore make up part of our program. We also have reports on budget defense where the Chief of Naval Staff and the Inspector General of Police, amongst others, appeared before committees over the 2022 budget. So, stay tuned for the details after this short break.
The Senate to send a message to the President
to reap opportunities from that.
To raise a matter of urgent public importance. And we are aware that when this particular motion comes up,
for a longer term development, arrive to second the motion.
Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Welcome back. The Senate, on resumption from its budget defense break, approved President Muhammadu Buhari's request to access foreign loans to fund the 2018-2021 external borrowing plans. This was Wednesday, the 10th of November 2021. For details of these and other deliberations at plenary, let's take this first report as compiled and presented from our studio.
The approval given to the President on foreign loans followed the presentation of the report of the Committee on Local and Foreign Debts, which worked on the matter. The Chairman, Senator Clifford Odia, spoke on the advantages of the loan.
Stimulating economic growth through infrastructural development, job creation, poverty alleviation, healthcare, and improve our security architecture. The projects will also stimulate a rebirth of commercial and engineering activities and the consequent tax revenues payable to government as a result of these productive activities will increase.
The amounts to be assessed are $16.23 billion, €1.02 billion, as well as $125 million, among others. After considering the report, the Senate gave its approval.
Those in favor that this bill be now read a second time say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The Senate also considered two anti-money laundering bills of similar contents at second reading. The first was a bill for an act to repeal the Money Laundering Prohibition Act 2011 as amended, and enact the Money Laundering Prohibition and Prevention Act 2021, sponsored by Senator Sadiq Suleiman Umar.
money laundering as an offense includes investment or transfer of funds made or obtained fraudulently into legitimate businesses to make the illicit funds difficult to trace. Many public servants who are entrusted with managing public funds for the benefit of the larger society are often accused of creating phantom companies, overpricing of contracts, use of funds to pay for contracts not executed or poorly executed, while others have been accused of cutting away huge sums of public funds and stashing it in foreign bank accounts. Apart from the need to address shortcomings in the Principal Act, the bill is further justified on the principle that money launderers and terrorists have not become familiar bedfellows leveraging on latest technological advancements to design money laundering schemes that are mutually beneficial to terrorists and money launderers.
He added that when passed, the bill would provide for the establishment of a special control unit under the EFCC to combat money laundering. The second bill, which also carries the same title, a bill for an act to repeal the Money Laundering Prohibition Act 2011 as amended and enact the Money Laundering Prohibition and Prevention Act 2021, was sponsored by Senator Suleiman Abdul Kwari.
The enactment of this bill will further resolve the institutional issue of special control unit against money laundering. While the money laundering bill on one hand seeks to introduce certain supervisory and enforcement measures, including imposition of administrative penalties by the supervisory authorities on financial institutions, designated and non-designated businesses and professions for breach of any requirement imposed by law, it will therefore, on the other hand, establish bureau for money laundering, which is to be domiciled in the NFIU instead of being managed by EFCC.
The bills were debated concurrently, read second time, and referred to the Committee on Anti-Corruption to report back in 4 weeks. The Senate also considered a Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC bill for second reading. Sponsored by Senator Solomon Olamilekan, the bill was titled Niger Delta Development Commission Act No. 6 Amendment Bill 2021 and seeks the inclusion of states in which oil has been discovered to the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC.
Following the discovery of the crude oil in Alakari local government in Bauchi, Badagry in Lagos, Ipokia in Ogun, Baji in Kogi, and by virtue of this, these states are entitled to the 13% derivation that is due to oil producing states according to the provision of section 162 subsection 2 of the Nigerian Constitution. The purpose of this bill is for the act to make provision for the new state who has joined the League of Oil Producing States in Nigeria and for states that might eventually discover oil in the future, as opposed to the present position of the act, which only covers oil producing states within the Niger Delta region.
States like Borno that have discovered oil, it's only fair for us to consider those states that produce oil, because the consequences of exploration it's going to affect them equally.
The Niger Delta Development Commission is a regional development commission. Lagos is not in the Niger Delta. Ogun State is not in Niger Delta. My colleague from Lagos should be told to pursue with vigor the establishment of the Southwest Development Commission and not the inclusion of Lagos in the Niger Delta Development Commission.
After more contributions, the bill scaled second reading and was referred to the Committee on Niger Delta to report back in 4 weeks. Next was the motion under personal explanation sponsored by Senator Ibrahim Gobir, who gave a gory tale of the new dimension terrorism has assumed in Goronyo and Sabon Birni areas of Sokoto State. The senator reported the killing of dozens of citizens on the 17th of October 2021, as well as the imposition of levies on villagers in the areas.
In Goronyo town, 120 people were killed. So what happened also in Sabon Birni now is becoming very alarming, because currently they are putting levies on all the villages around that area. They will ask you to pay either 5 million or 4 million. If you don't pay, they will come and shoot and kill about 2 or 3 and then force you to comply so that you can pay. In the other part of Sabon Birni, very close to Niger Republic, they have this Gangara and the Makwarwa. In Gangara, they even remove the village head and then put their own. They call him Dambokolo.
Because matters under personal explanation are not subject to debate, 1 minute silence was observed in honor of the victims of the attack.
May the souls of our departed compatriots who lost their lives in terrorist attacks in Sokoto rest in perfect peace. Amen.
Earlier, Tuesday, the 9th November 2021, the report of the Conference Committee constituted to harmonize the Senate and House of Representatives version of the already passed Electoral Act 2021 was presented to the Senate for consideration and approval. The report was presented by the Senate leader who gave its historical background.
The successful harmonization of this bill is a process that started from the 7th Assembly through the 8th National Assembly and has now been completed by this distinguished 9th National Assembly. This bill is now ready for passage and presidential assent. I'm happy to say that most of what we call citizens' top priorities on the Electoral Act amendment, including the use of technology, has been addressed by this Electoral Act 2021.
No debate was taken as a result. The question was put.
Those in favor that the Senate do approve the Conference Committee report on the Electoral Act number 6, 2010, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
With this, the report was adopted and the bill passed. Among the highlights of the bill is the provision for direct primaries for aspirants to all elective positions, empowering INEC to determine the procedure for voting as well as transmission of results. Same day, the Senate tackled the alleged invasion of the home of Nigeria's number 2 jurist and justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Mary Odili, on the 29th of October 2021. Senator Betty Apiafi came under matters of urgent public importance to report the matter with an overview of how it all started.
The home of such a highly revered judicial officer could be raided in such a manner by security agents. Though the Inspector General of Police claims some arrests have been made and investigations are still going on, details of such arrests have not been made public.
There is a need for us to continue to, of course, respect the sanctity of the judiciary and the need to continue to also protect our judicial officers like every other Nigerian whose rights under the law deserve to be protected.
One of the resolutions adopted on the motion was to urge the Inspector General of Police to make the outcome of the investigation public. Again, under personal explanation, Senator Oluremi Tinubu reported the collapse of a 21-story building under construction in Ikoyi, Lagos on Monday the 4th of November 2021. In her presentation, Senator Tinubu reported that the collapse came with huge consequences.
15 survivors were rescued from the rubble and 44 persons, including the owner of the building, confirmed dead. This is a disaster of epic proportions, the magnitude of which cannot be overlooked.
As a resolution, the Senate urged NEMA to provide assistance to the survivors of the collapsed building.
That was a review of the proceedings during plenary of last week ending 11th November 2021. We'll now take a short break for the notebook segment. Don't go away.
Votes and proceedings are records of the Senate's plenary of a given day, prepared to provide accurate information about the plenary of that day as well as the decisions taken and prayers adopted. The votes and proceedings having been prepared are read out by the presiding officer the following day for legislators to make observations for possible corrections where mistakes are made or adopted where there are no errors. With this done, they can now be transmitted for public consumption.
The only way out of the pandemic is for the population to observe the recommended measures advised by the NCDC. The Senate Committees on Health and Primary Health Care and Communicable Diseases will continue to engage with the Federal Ministry of Health and the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19.
The program is Inside the Senate. Earlier on, we took reports from plenary highlighting bills and motions considered last week. We'll now move on to committee reports of budget defense exercise. And the spotlight are committees on Navy, Police Affairs as well as Science and Technology. Stay tuned for details of their engagements with ministries, departments and agencies.
For the Committee on Navy, Chairman Senator George Sekibo declared the exercise open with a remark on what the committee was seeking.
We will also like to hear from you the performance of 2021 budget. Although some of us who are a little bit close, we know that you've done extremely very well, but it's a committee and it's a ritual. You tell us how it is been done. So you will take the 2021 budget first, and then you go to 2022 budget.
In a response, the leader of the team and Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral A.S. Gambo, disclosed the appropriation for capital component for the Nigerian Navy in 2021 as 25.3 billion naira, and all the money has been released.
The release has been used to fund implementation of critical projects such as the milestone obligations for the ongoing construction of the landing ship tank in UAE, 17-meter Aresa inshore patrol crafts, the new 35-meter hydrography survey boat, as well as the maritime patrol helicopters. Other projects are the ongoing construction of the Naval War College in Calabar, an upgrade of the Nigerian Navy Reference Hospital Ojo in Lagos, as well as arms and ammunition procurements.
The rest of the exercise continued behind closed doors due to security reasons. Meanwhile, the Minister of Police Affairs was before the Committee on Police Affairs on Tuesday the 9th of November, during which he disclosed plans to ameliorate the challenges facing policemen across the country. According to the minister, the challenges include poor emoluments as well as being part of the contributory pension scheme. He added that the ministry has set machinery in motion to address these following a presidential order.
In recognition of the low take-home pay of the police, which necessitated the need to motivate them for better performance, Mr. President directed the Salaries and Wages Commission to work out a new salary package for the Nigerian police and submit to government for consideration. In keeping with this directive, the Commission, in consultation with the relevant stakeholders, has submitted a proposal to government which is being given the desired and urgent attention. On the issue of pension, the Ministry is aware of the discussions that have recently been going on in the National Assembly on the need to exit the police from the contributory pension scheme.
The minister also decried the envelope system of budgeting under which the ministry and its agencies were appropriated 530 billion naira as against 621 billion naira proposed for 2022. He gave the 2022 proposal as follows. Total proposal 621.3 billion naira. Personnel cost 510.2 billion naira. Overhead cost 32.6 billion naira. Recurrent expenditure 536.1 billion naira, and capital expenditure 85.2 billion naira. The committee chairman had earlier on disclosed that the exercise was a build-up on the police portion of the national budget presented by President Muhammadu Buhari in October 2021.
We debated on the general principles of the bill. That is first reading, second reading, and the same bill was transmitted to the committees, the standing committees of both chambers for further legislative action.
The rest of the meeting also continued behind closed doors. At the command level, the Inspector General, Mr. Usman Al-Ghali Baba, came before the Committee on Police Affairs to defend their 2022 proposals. In his submission, the Inspector General of Police started first with their 2021 performance as follows. Total appropriation 458.3 billion naira. Personnel cost 416.4 billion naira. Capital expenditure 41.9 billion naira. Overhead cost 90.6 billion naira required, but 27.8 billion naira appropriated, with a release of 20.8 billion naira representing 75%. For 2022, the Inspector General of Police said the total proposal of 556 billion naira was reviewed downwards to 547 billion naira, showing a reduction of about 9.4 billion naira. He enumerated the three main objectives on which the 2022 budget proposal was prepared.
1.
to utilize the budgetary instrument towards advancing the modernization and the reform agenda of the force as envisaged by Mr. President. 2, to strengthen the funding base of the force well enough to enhance our institutional capacity to address current and emerging security threats and sustain all our ongoing special internal security operations across the country. 3, to integrate the newly established police zonal commands, divisions and formation as approved by Mr. President, as well as the special operations and tactical forces including the intelligence response team, special forces and special tactical squads into the budget with a view to sustaining their critical internal security operations.
The rest of the meeting continued behind closed doors for security reasons. Still on budget defense, the Committee on Science and Technology hosted the Project Development Institute PRODA. This was Monday, the 8th of November 2021. As it were, the institute was founded in 1970 by the then Eastern Nigerian government with the mandate to design and develop machines and provide consultancy services where necessary. It was taken over by the federal government in 1977 and has of recent been faced with difficulties as a result of administrative crisis and staff restiveness, as highlighted by the committee chairman in her opening remark.
In the last couple of years, PRODA became the most notorious parastatals of the Federal Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation as a result of leadership tussles, procurement disputes, and mistrust among the staff of the Institute. In order to restore sanity to the Institute in line with the vision and mission of its founding fathers, the committee embarked on a series of reconciliatory meetings with the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, former chairman and members of PRODA's governing board, the DG Bureau of Public Procurement, and aggrieved members of staff of the Institute.
This paved the way for the presentation of the 2020 performance budget by the Director General of the Institute, Mr. Fabian Okonkwo, who disclosed that a total of 7.5 billion naira was released to the Institute in 2020. This attracted observations.
There's no way you give us figure of amount released without amount appropriated. It's not possible now.
The only way you can impress us is by saying, oh, the proposal for that year, the appropriation for that year is maybe 20 million. But now they have released 15 million on that budget head. This is how you have spent it.
We had 100% release in 2020. So amount appropriated was the amount released. The amount expended is 7.537 billion. And the percentage implementation is 99.89.
The committee then went into a closed-door session to continue deliberation on other matters.
When did you award that contract?
Those were reports of budget defense by committees, ministries, departments, and agencies. Our profile segment is next. Stand by for our Senator of the Week.
Senator Emmanuel Bwacha represents Taraba South Senatorial District under PDP. He earned a diploma in public administration from the University of Calabar. He served in the Reverend Jolly Nyame administration as Commissioner of Agriculture from 1999 to 2003. In politics, Senator Emmanuel Bwacha contested and won election to represent Donga, Musa Takun Federal Constituency, and served from 2003 to 2007. He also contested to the Senate in 2007 but lost. Not discouraged, he contested again in 2011 under the Action Congress of Nigeria (ACN) and won. He has been a senator since then after joining the PDP. A grassroots politician and a staunch nationalist, Senator Emmanuel Bwacha holds the national honor of the Commander of the Order of the Niger (CON). He is the Deputy Minority Leader of the 9th Senate. His legislative interests include security, education, youth and women empowerment, amongst others.
With this, we come to the end of this week's package of Inside the Senate. Be with us next week for another edition, and thanks for watching.